Check out this leap, way up and over. And the crowd went crazy. Skittles were flying out of the crowd.
There are many questions thrown around about the legitimacy of a team's record, but there isn't much truth to what your record says about you, is it? Any NFL fan knows that it is very easy to spot a fraudulent team that is counting on unsustainable luck to obtain a flattering record. Let's take a look at the 7 most overrated NFL teams heading into the 2021 season. Number 7, Pittsburgh Steelers. One of the NFL's blue blood franchises, the Steelers usually get a lot of primetime games. However, this is not the case for this year's team though. The Steelers haven't had the chance to play in prime time since their Week 1 matchup against the Giants in 2020. They played their most notable game at 1 o'clock when the attention of football fans was on the whole league winning in Baltimore. So it is understandable for the league's only undefeated team to be widely seen as its best team. However, any NFL fan would know that this team might be skeptical of that label. Even though the offense has managed to put up points on the board, every scoring drive feels like a marathon with only Ben Roethlisberger making his way down the field. Although the defense is good, this aggressive style can end up being exploited by the NFL's best passers like Patrick Mahomes. The Steelers could undoubtedly be a good team, but going into 2021, we don't know if they are the best just yet. Number 6, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a good football team. There are many flaws that were exposed against the Saints. Although the defense did rank first in defensive efficiency going into the week, it can be a lot less intimidating against teams that are already ahead of the chances as they avoid Todd Bowles' exotic fronts and blitzes. This is how the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees attacked Tampa Bay in a game in 2020, seemingly having no problem moving the ball up and down the field. If you've seen the Buccaneers play, you'll see that the offense has had problems in the past seasons against the deeper secondaries it has played, giving up 28.1 points per game, which also happens to be 3rd worst in the NFL. Most of their games can just end up being shootouts. But the main reason why everybody seems to have the Buccaneers as a serious Super Bowl contender is because of the belief that Brady can turn out to be a massive upgrade over Jameis Winston. But is that really the case? The Bucs also don't have any obvious flaws, but the smaller flaws can be just big enough to be exposed by the NFL's best teams. Number 5, Tennessee Titans. There are 2 sides to Titans player Ryan Tannehill. One side where he just hands the ball off to Derrick Henry and puts elite passing numbers throwing play-action passes all day, and then the other side where he doesn't look so great when opponents actually force him to play quarterback. Teams have been doing a better job of forcing that other side to come out of late, but it happened in the last season in Chicago when the Bears' offense was played like you would expect the Bears' offense to play, so Tannehill's struggles went pretty unnoticed. Yet unfortunately for Tennessee, there are many teams with good defenses and a competent offense out there, while the Titans' defense does not make anyone comfortable as it relies way too much on the turnover battle to limit points. Of course, this got much worse after they lost 3 of their best defensive players. When playing against competent teams, the Titans may end up having issues as they head off into a new season of a new year. Number 4, New England Patriots. Although the Patriots did end up losing the greatest player of all time to free agency, many experts still believe that the Patriots will stick around. Vegas believes that the Patriots can end up in the playoffs just because Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame coach, despite losing Brady and 6 defensive starters and having no offensive weapons. However, Belichick can be a little overrated. Of course, he may draft defensive players well such as Ty Law, Patrick Chung, and Devin McCourty, but he has not been able to draft an offensive Pro Bowler since Gronk. The game is starting to move away from him since football is starting to become a wide receiver-dependent league, while Belichick cannot draft wide receivers well. In addition to that, he's also unwilling to sign them in free agency. We can also see the Patriots struggle because of not being dynamic enough to compete with other teams in the West, with their defense failing to bail them out now after losing 6 defensive starters. But despite all these issues, Vegas still believes that they can make their way to the playoffs, which is exactly what makes them overrated. Number 3, Green Bay Packers. The Packers' 13-3 record can lead many people to think that they are one of the best teams in the NFL. However, when you actually watch the play, you will realize that this is a team with significant holes that has gotten many breaks. One problem that the Packers have, which no one seems to be talking about, is their coaching. When you watch the team play, you will be able to easily tell that the team is not well coached, as they cannot seem to play a full 60-minute game, randomly shutting down during it. This speaks of their bad coaching. They have also become the first 13-3 team that has ever been outgained by their opponents. This means that they were not only always outplayed in games, but only won by winning the turnover battle, which is not the most sustainable move. It only shows how they are being bailed out by their talent and the refs, who helped them in the Detroit and Carolina games, where they are outplayed both times and only managed to win because of the bad officiating. This speaks volumes about Matt LaFleur's inability to pay attention to detail, a reason why he should not be thought of as a rising star as a head coach. However, their division can be a lot better this year, so they might not end up getting as many breaks, but we sure can expect a lot of regression from the Packers. Number 2, Dallas Cowboys. Heading into the new season, the Dallas Cowboys have one of the largest expectations in the NFL. They also have the third best odds to win the NFC, but why do they have these insane expectations in the first place? Well, people seem to think that because they got rid of Jason Garrett and replaced him with Mike McCarthy, they can be Super Bowl contenders. However, Mike McCarthy being a good fit with the Cowboys system seems to be much doubtful. This is because the Cowboys have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL and one of the best running backs in the NFL, which means they are built to run the ball. However, since it is not McCarthy's specialty, as we saw during his time with the Packers, when they ranked at the bottom in rush attempts. In previous seasons, Cowboys' defense has been one of the worst units in the league, with many quarterbacks having career games against them. The Cowboys have also been proclaimed as one of the big winners in the draft, with many people loving what turned out to be wrong picks. Although them dominating the press has urged everyone to buy into the hype, the truth is, there is nothing to buy into. Number 1, Cleveland Browns. Once picked in 2020 as the most overrated team, the Cleveland Browns were expected to bounce back and prove themselves in the pro seasons. However, watching them play, we soon noticed that the Browns were just playing us, to the same beat that they had played in 2019. In a position to make the playoffs for the first time since 2020, the Cleveland Browns were making 8-3. But whether or not they were going to impress was the question. Recalling what the former Pro Bowl wide receiver Brandon Marshall says about them, it goes something like this. They should be proud. They should be happy. When you think about the Cleveland Browns, they're synonymous with losing. A team that is synonymous with losing shouldn't pose a threat, but sometimes you shouldn't underestimate the power of luck that the Cleveland Browns operate with. At the start of the year 2020, the Browns did receive an upgrade in their team with the addition of head coach Kevin Stefanski, making the team overrated because of their failure to get the required wins through their game plan. They do sometimes win, but they also lose because of how predictable their game schedule is. They better make changes to it, or they will be destined for mediocre success only. And that's a wrap on 7 most overrated NFL teams heading into the 2021 season. What do you think about these teams? Are they overrated or underrated? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.